There are many theories behind Poppy Playtime Chapter 2, and in today's video, we will be digging into the lore behind Poppy Playtime Chapter 2. So sit back, relax, grab some snacks because this is going to get very creepy. This is the story of Poppy Playtime Chapter 2. In Chapter 1, our favorite hero, otherwise known as AldosWorld, haha, I'm just kidding, but the story unfolds through the experience of playing through the main character, which we will refer to as Pro Player. Pro Player decides to return to the abandoned toy factory after receiving a strange letter from an employee who vanished 10 years ago, and a VHS tape and a note telling them to find the flower. Pro Player, whoever that is, finds themselves exploring an abandoned Playtime Co. toy factory. As our character roams the area in search of clues, they find many hints of ancient toys that had form of life. Pro Player takes on the role of a previous Playtime Co. employee who decides to do some exploring. Kinda reminds me of being hired for the night shift in Five Nights at Freddy's. This is a good sign that if you ever get a job offer to work the night shift in some abandoned store, maybe you should just pass up on that offer. We know the toy factory closed down 10 years ago and has been abandoned ever since, but why was the toy factory shut down? Did a haunted toy bite a child, like in FNAF? Did children go missing? Well, actually, it was that anytime an employee went to work there, they went missing and never returned. Strange. How could so many employees go missing working at a toy factory? Something must be going on. Pro Player returns to the factory to discover Huggy Wuggy, a seemingly cute at first toy that later reveals itself as a monster whose sole purpose is to kill Pro Player, making him just another vanishing employee. However, Huggy Wuggy is outsmarted by Pro Player as we see Huggy Wuggy being crushed and falling into a dark abyss. Success! But one problem. How do we get out of here? Right, the flower. We need to search for the flower. That's why we came here, right? Finally, Pro Player finds the flower and passes through the door to discover one of the original Poppy Playtime dolls, which comes to life just as he opens the casing and even starts to blink. To be honest, this reminds me of the haunted Annabelle doll. It's a little bit too similar. Is this a sign that the doll is also possessed and represents a real-life demon? A haunting, perhaps? Is this going to get paranormal? This is where Chapter 2 begins, and just as suspected, the lights go out in typical paranormal fashion. The Poppy Playtime doll is gone. Oh no! The next discovery is Elliott Ludwig's office, deeper into the factory, where we find another VHS tape.
Playtime Co. is the product of a great man by the name of Elliott Ludwig, divorced but a family man at heart. His sights were always set on bringing amazing toys to amazing children around the globe. Ludwig spent countless hours in the factory, working overtime relentlessly in an attempt to continuously innovate and surprise. In the 1960s, an unfortunate family death had pushed Ludwig down to his lowest. But with so much ambition, he rose back up and continued to fulfill his vision for the Playtime Co. toy factory. Ludwig could never be content leaving a project unfinished. But just how did one man come to create such an astounding empire? How did he manage to stay determined even after suffering such a tragic loss? It all began in the fateful year of 19...
That is, until the tape cuts off. But why? What were we not supposed to find out? Just as suspected, what started out as an innocent quest to create the best toys of all time turned into a quest to resurrect his lost love by using toys as a medium. Basically, inviting the dead family person to possess a little toy. Kinda weird if you ask me. We find a note that reveals Ludwig's intentions to resurrect his family using a poppy and experiments. Now, flowers in some cultures represent blossoming, the bringing forth of life, and hence the idea of resurrection. After failing using rats, Ludwig had the crazy idea of using something bigger than rats. Humans, perhaps? But why toys? Toys are meant for children. Could it be that Elliott's lost family member was his daughter? Does this mean that the Poppy doll which we saw possessed contained the spirit of his lost daughter, who cannot rest in peace and move on because her spirit is now trapped in the doll of Poppy? This symbolism is scarily similar to Annabelle the doll. According to the Warrens, a student nurse was given the doll in the 1970s. They said the doll behaved very strangely. A psychic medium told the student that the doll was inhabited by the spirit of a deceased girl named Annabelle. Now, if you think that's just a coincidence, I don't know what to tell you. That's very close. While we were speculating, Poppy pops up out of nowhere and surprises us as being very friendly, even going farther, offering to be our very own guide out of this maze of a factory.
I wanted to thank you for freeing me. I was stuck in there for so long. Thank you. I'd like to pay you back. There's a train station nearby. It needs a code. And I have it. We're gonna get out of here. Hey, I'm up here. I see you. I should be able to follow you through the fence. This way.
Alright, Annabelle, we're on to you. Poppy leads our main character through the factory. And just as we start to feel like we are close to an exit, Poppy is snatched away by a long noodle arm. What? No! Poppy, come back! Well, I guess down the rabbit hole we go. After jumping down, pro player discovers who took Poppy. A giant spider stretchy toy appears. Mommy Longlegs. Dun dun dun! Who is Mommy Longlegs?
Look, it's Mommy Longlegs, the coolest toy around. You can stretch your legs or hang her upside down. Try to twist and bend her in every kind of...
When we watch the commercial, we find out that Mommy Longlegs was a popular, very stretchy toy in the 1990s whose tagline was,
"She loves watching you play. When you're having fun, she's having fun." The new.
This turns out to be true, as you'll see later on, where Mommy Longlegs forces us to play 3 mini games, and in the same fashion, she used to observe children in the factory also taking part in these 3 mini games as a part of various experiments, which we will also discuss later on. We also find out that Mommy Longlegs was a part of a family of 3, Daddy Longlegs and Baby Longlegs. Mommy Longlegs, although nice to children, is very hostile towards scientists and adults, and in the transfer note request, we discover many things. Mommy Longlegs, does that mean that we are possibly a scientist? More on that later. Mommy Longlegs was revealed to be an experiment subject going by the alias 1222. Her former identity being Mary pain. Mommy Longlegs was once a human, and her name was Marie. How creepy. I wonder who Huggy Wuggy really is. Now that we have an idea who Mommy is, let's keep going. Mommy, who clearly finds our attempt to escape amusing, decides to turn this into a puzzle game where our search for the puzzles will lead to a code we can use to escape. Our life and Poppy's now depends on our escape room skills. I would be in trouble if this was real. I suck at escape rooms. The game station looks cute at first. There's a play area, which has a slide, and other cute places where children can play, a cute train, and 3 tunnels that lead to mini games, each with a picture of a different toy: Bunzo Bunny, an RJ Pillar, and Huggy Wuggy. While this seems innocent at first, we discover that this used to be where many experiments took place. We discover the horrifying reality through some company documents answering some of our questions we had in Chapter 1. Do you remember the Fostering Happiness Adopt an Orphan poster? This encouraged employees to adopt children by offering them rewards and financial benefits. Were these orphans the lost souls that are entrapped in Huggy Wuggy and all of the toys? Think about it. While the parents thought these kids were being dropped off at a daycare onto the train actually kept going deeper into the factory, where we discover a woman named Stella Grieber supervised the experiments being done on these children. We discover this as we pull a lever and hear lost audios and an interview with Stella. Play the interview. Drink some water.
So, Stella, what made you want to work at the Playtime Co-Factory?
Playing with toys when I was young was so magical. Being able to work at a toy factory, somewhere that can provide kids with that same experience, that's a pretty great feeling too. Sometimes though, I really wish I could go back to being a kid.
We also find out that each child had a designated person watching and keeping track of their progress on the different experiments. The first minigame was Musical Memory, designed to test pattern recognition, composure, and memory.
Welcome to Musical Memory. This advanced memory and cognitive recognition test is designed to stimulate several segments of the brain, allowing us to see how quickly and efficiently your brain works.
I feel like I would do pretty well in that game. The second game is called Whack-A-Wuggy, which tested for hand-eye coordination and reaction time. The third minigame was called Statues, which tested for speed and agility. All of the reports were returned to Stella by the end of the day, and the children were later picked up by the parents, thinking they just came back from a healthy, fun daycare day. Meanwhile, the children were actually witnessing their proctor being killed by the evil toys. And in one note, we see that PJ Pugapillar attacks, and there's another note about Huggy Wuggy attacking proctors. Each kid would latch on to the toy even harder when they felt in danger. This would make their performance worse and give them the creeps. I know I would feel the same. The proctors were used as human guinea pigs. This is why the employees kept vanishing. Mommy Longlegs, who was naturally protective to children, would attack adults. If you think about it, that's why her name is Mommy. She's naturally protective to the children. Back to the 3 tunnels now, as our character tries to escape. The first minigame is Musical Memory, where we have to use our memory to remember what colors to press first in a series of patterns, with the pressure of Bunzo Bunny slowly lowering from the ceiling, ready to eat us. While this is happening, Mommy Longlegs is observing, almost like how Stella was observing her. The next minigame is Whack-A-Wuggy. There are 18 small holes, and mini Huggy Wuggies that come out of the tunnels, and you must whack them before they fully do. If we fail to smack the Huggy before it is too late, our character is eaten alive. Mommy Longlegs also reveals to us that the toys used to be bound by a string to keep the children safe if they ever failed the minigame, but not for us. Mommy Longlegs has taken the liberty of removing the strings.
The toys in this game used to have strings attached to them, so they could be pulled back when they got too close to the children. Have fun.
Thanks, Mommy Longlegs. Way to make it real. After finishing the mini game, we find ourselves in a mini cart area with a cart labeled Berry. This was used to transfer dolls and toys about the factory. As we are making our way through this tunnel, we find Huggy Wuggy. Back from the dead, I see. Oh no. But wait, as the seemingly Huggy Wuggy steps into the light, we realize it's not Huggy Wuggy, but rather Kissy Missy. Suddenly, I'm not really in the mood to be kissed. To my content, we later find out that Kissy Missy does not offer us a kiss, but rather Kissy Missy opens up a bunch of doors for us by pulling the levers. Well, how kind. I guess I'll take it. The final game is called Statues. This game is essentially red light, green light from Squid Games. When the light is on, you must stop. When the light is off, you may move towards the end of the minigame. And the consequences here, a giant pugapillar ready to eat you if you make a mistake. When we finally get to the end, we find, wait a minute, this is a dead end. This was a trap. Mommy Longlegs tricked us. Looking to the side, our character swings away before PJ Pugapillar comes after us. But why is Mommy Longlegs putting us through all of these experiments? And why is she so angry? We know that she is a motherly figure. And what happens to a motherly figure when she loses her children? As you can imagine, she becomes very angry and vengeful towards the scientists. Mommy especially felt like a mother because if you remember, all of the children who were used in these experiments were all adopted. So Mommy was the closest thing they had to an actual mother. Were we an evil scientist this whole time? Are we the problem? This also explains why Huggy Wuggy comes after us. After we discover him being innocent, somehow he transforms into becoming very evil. But how could we be so involved, yet so unaware? Apparently, many of the other employees also had no clue.
Mind if I film this?
Oh, not at all, sir.
That's what I like to hear. So, Marcus, what happened?
You see, I was heading home for the day when my A-pars realized that I left me bloody wallet in the cafeteria. So, I'm running through the lobby, and that's when I see it. A mop handle lodged under the innovation wing gate.
So what'd you do, Marcus?
Well, I just thought I'd nab the bloody yoke and be on me merry way.
And?
Well, I'm reaching for the thing, and the mop handle jolts on its own. Had me scared stiff. I thought I was the only one there. So, I took a peek beneath the gate, and some massive bloody thing was doddering about the bloody hallway.
Thing? You're sure it wasn't a person?
Ain't no person that's 50 feet long with 1,000 legs.
Marcus, you're losing me. Maybe you just saw a bunch of people walking by.
Look, it wasn't people, all right? I haven't a bloody notion what it was, but it wasn't human.
Who have you told about this? Besides me, obviously.
Just you, sir. Obviously.
Okay. I'll have security skim the cameras and take a look.
What? There's a massive bloody monster! Skimming ain't gonna get rid of it!
You're out of line, Marcus. We make toys, not monsters. Now come on, get out of my sight.
As the character starts to escape, Mommy becomes more evil. It looks like nobody knew what was going on in that place. I guess they were just in it for the paycheck. As the character starts to escape, Mommy becomes more evil, getting crazy and freaky if you ask me. Mommy Longlegs discovers that player is trying to escape, which turns into a life and death game of hide and seek. I don't remember signing up for this game. Our character finds himself deep inside a tunnel trying to escape, and a note from a construction company called Warren Back Construction detailed a 12-month deadline, showing that the place should have been done in 12 months. The toy factory starts to break down while Mommy Playtime chases us. The end of this chase leads our character to the escape exit leading back to the beginning. Mommy tries to attack the character but ends up being stuck in a grinder leading to her end. But as she is being swallowed into the grinder, she says something that gives us more clues.
He'll make me a part of him! No!
He'll make me a part of him? What is she talking about? Why is she more concerned with that than actually passing away? Suddenly, a giant claw, the prototype, takes Mommy Longlegs. Whatever that prototype is, we assume that the dead toys become a part of him as they merge together. And this is why Mommy Longlegs was so afraid. She didn't want to become a part of the prototype. Well, this place is a mess. Our player tries to escape, but is stuck in the dark when the train breaks and we see little glimpses. Does this mean that there will be a chapter 3? Who knows? Thank you for watching the Storytime video.